Today we're going to be talking about subtraction with zero pairs. What's important to remember about a zero pair is that they always equal zero. In other words, they cancel out. A zero pair are any two integers that have opposite signs. So if you have 10 and negative 10, this is a zero pair because when you combine them you get 0. Same thing with a 1 and a negative 1. When you combine them, they cancel out because they equal 0. And for the purposes of subtraction with zero pairs, what's really important to remember is that we can add zero pairs to any number without changing the value. And the reason why we can do that is because zero pairs equal 0. So let's say we have a positive 10, and I add a zero pair, which consists of a negative 1 and a positive 1. This value right here, all three of these counters, still only equals 10 because these two zero pairs cancel out. And it would work the same if we started with a negative integer. So if we had a negative 5 and we added a zero pair, this value here still only equals negative 5 because this zero pair cancels out because it equals 0. So let's get into the subtraction. Some of the language you've heard over the years and that you're going to be hearing this year are words like take away, remove, add the opposite, and you might hear the mnemonic device, a little trick called keep, change, flip. Today we're mostly going to be using the word remove because when we talk about subtraction we're going to be removing a certain value from the value that we start with. So we're going to solve a very traditional problem, 17 minus 5. Now you can look at this and you can solve this without the counters, but we're going to use the counters to model how we're going to do more complex problems. So I'm starting with 17, which I modeled with a 10, a 5, and 2 1s of my positive counters. And I need to remove 5. So I'm simply going to grab this 5 counter, drag it over here, and I'm going to combine what I have left. I have a 10 and 2 1s. Therefore 17 minus 5 equals 12. Alright, next problem. Let's try 3 minus 7. So I'm starting with 3, so I'm going to bring over 3 positive counters, 1, 2, 3. And I need to remove 7. Problem is, I only have 3. I can't take 7 away from 3. I need to increase the number of counters I have here so that I can take 7 away. I can't just add more positive counters, but I can add as many zero pairs as I want to. Because remember, we can add zero pairs, and we're not going to change the value of the 3. So I can add 4 more zero pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I still only have 3 in this whole set. Because remember, all of these zero pairs equal 0. But by adding the zero pairs to my field, I can now take away 7 of the positive counters. So I'm going to take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I look at what I have left. I add up 4 negative 1 counters, so I get 3 minus 7 is equal to negative 4. Next problem, negative 5 minus negative 8. So I'm starting with a negative 5, and I need to remove negative 8. Same problem I had last time. I need to take away 8 negative counters, but I only have 5 negative counters. Therefore, I'm going to need to add some more zero pairs so that I have enough to take away 8 negative counters. So I need at least 3 more zero pairs so that I can take away 8 negative. So here's 1 zero pair, here's a second zero pair, and here's a third zero pair. Now I have enough negative counters here to take away 8. So negative 5, remove 8 negative counters, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I look at what I have left. So negative 5 minus a negative 8 equals positive 3. Alright, last problem. We're almost there. Let's do negative 15 minus 20. So I'm starting with a negative 15, which I can model with a negative 10 counter and a negative 5 counter, and I need to take away 20 or remove 20 positive counters. I don't have any positive counters, so I need to add at least 20 positive counters. And remember, we're going to do that by adding zero pairs. So here's a zero pair of 10, another zero pair of 10, which gives me 20 to remove. So I have negative 15 still here. Remember, this still equals 0, and I can remove 20. So I'm going to take away 10, 20, and I combine what I have left. I have negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, negative 35. So negative 15 minus 20 equals negative 35.